Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Sanders, and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today, what I have are three different watches, or actually watch brands, I guess. And it was very specific watches, and they seem to me to be good buys, but for different reasons. The first one is the Hermes Dressage. It has a caliber 1837, which is what we'll call an in-house Hermes movement, and they're made by Vacher manufacturer Fleurier, which Hermes owns 25% of. The movement itself is 4 hertz, 60-hour reserve, but it's one of those watches that you can get a watch that is punching way above its price. Okay, now the lowest price I found on these was 26.58, and if you look around, I think I found it on eBay. But just looking for these, it's sort of like a watch that you can sort of put in a Google search for, and just see how many different ones you can find, and find one that you may like. They have them in chronographs, and they have some other ones that are very unusual, but they're still part of Hermes Dressage. Now, the second one, now these are a little more expensive, but they're by one of the top watchmakers, Roger Dubuis. Roger Dubuis unfortunately passed away in 2011, but the watch company bearing his name is still with us. However, it was some of the older watches, that were early 21st century, that I find the most interesting. Now, one thing about the one I'm going to talk about is called the Roger Dubuis Excalibur, and there are a lot of different versions of this. Now, one of the things about the Excalibur is that they tend to be pretty big. And so if you're a big guy with a big wrist, I think there'd be a good find for you, because, for example, this Excalibur 45 millimeters, $5,684. Now you say, well, that's not cheap. No, it's not cheap, but for a watch with a Geneva seal, very much so. I've had a couple Roger Dubuis, and they run beautifully. They are big watches, though. But like I said, if you're sort of a bigger guy, or regular sized guy, or even a small guy who likes these larger watches, these you can find some good buys on. The one on the left with the white dial and the small seconds at 9 o'clock was 56.84. The movement is an RD77. RD, of course, stands for Roger Dubuis. The one on the right is has an RD820, and again, both of these have a Geneva seal. This one, the blue one, was 68.45. Now, again, this is one of those watches you can just put into a search engine and see what you can find. I mean, sometimes you'll find something that you really like. I think there is a version, or a couple of versions, that are very small, like 36 millimeters, and I don't know if that would be too small. It's sort of one of those things that the mama bear and the papa bear, but there's no Goldilocks just right. But there might be one for you. The final one, a friend of mine found, and there's a place called the Watch Outlet, and the Watch Outlet is one of my favorite places to go looking for watches, because they have a lot of good quality watches at really great prices. And one I found, this is not the kind of watch that I would normally be looking at. This is the Louis Erard 1931. Now, it's not from 1931, but it's sort of a style from that period. And they have a lot of different versions of this. The plain one is, looks like a Calatrava, that kind of very plain looking time-only watch. This one, except they do have the small seconds down at 6:30. They also have a Caliber ETA Pazoo 7001. Now, the Pazoo 7001 was very popular, smaller size hand-wound movement, a very good one. And ETA bought Pazoo, and so it became the ETA Pazoo 7001. Had anything changed? Well, one guy told me that there was some gear or something at ETA changed to make it a little better, and they may have. Very popular movement. Now, the MSRP in this particular one was $16,300, and this was literally on sale for $2,999. Now, why would I recommend something like this or even bring it up? Well, if you're looking for a gold watch, you're going to have a hard time beating that price, at least for a modern watch. This one is, I think, from like 2013, right in that area in there, but it's a 21st century watch. It's got at the subdial, they have a little window down there. You can see some of the gearings, and they have a sort of a partial window over right off of 9 o'clock. Very interesting watch, great buy, and it's like a solid gold. Anyway, naturally, I'd like to hear what you have to say. Maybe you have one of these watches, and you can tell me that, whether you like it or not, and your experience with it. It's an opportunity to subscribe if you like. Until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Side, the art and science of watch collection.